In 2020 and 2021, I did a series of videos on Instagram, very informal, but I was taking ideas from musical theory that I thought were relevant to singer-songwriters. Although I've played guitar in a lot of my friends' bands, although I've recorded, although I've toured with other artists, I've always primarily looked at myself as a songwriter. And whenever I am learning more about music, the area that benefits most immediately for me is my songwriting. Now, a lot of times songwriters might be a little intimidated by music theory or might think that it's something that only the musicians in the band need to worry about. But I think that anything that improves our musicianship will improve our songwriting. And the concept I want to look at today is the idea of inversions. Now, I'm going to be mainly using examples here. If you do want to go more in depth onto like how to find these inversions, how to derive them from chords you already know, things like that, that's a topic I love going down with my students. And I'm mainly just teaching on Sundays now. Started a new job a couple weeks ago, or a month ago. Almost exactly a month ago, actually. But so this is going to be less of a how to do this for yourself and more of here's an example of how it can benefit your songwriting. Now, I'm just going to use a tune that I've been working on tonight because I forgot I wrote this, and I actually really like the song. I'll play for you a bit of the verse, a bit of the chorus, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it first using only normal chords. Everything goes, dear, rules don't change for you or for me. Talking about clear skies and rain, shame and fear, the same shadows crawling up the pavement each year. Any minute it will all clear out. When there's nothing you can talk about, I'll hold you, dear. What a pity that our common sense couldn't really make a difference. It all disappears, dear, you know this. Now, perfectly fine melody, perfectly fine chords. This video is not to say there's anything wrong with that approach, but it is speaking to a particular class of songwriter that I see emerging a lot more in contemporary American music, which is someone that, hails from the tradition of Radiohead as much as they hail from the tradition of, say, like Jackson Browne, right, or Paul Simon. People who prioritize lyrics but also want what's happening musically to be interesting. It doesn't have to be reinventing the wheel, but just something a little bit different than what you would hear, down at the brew pub or at an open mic. So now I'm going to play you how I wrote this song, and then we'll talk a little bit about what's going on here. Everything goes, dear, rules don't change for you or for me. Talking about clear skies and rain, shame and fear, the same shadows crawling up the pavement each year. Any minute it will all clear out. When there's nothing you can talk about, I'll hold you, dear. What a pity that our common sense couldn't really make a difference. It all disappears, dear, you know this. Now, to my ear, that second version has a lot more character to it. Instead of G to C, and then A minor to D7, we have as the G, as the C, there's the A minor, and the D7. D, C, D, C, D, E minor, D over F sharp, G, right? Now what's going on here is we're using the concept of inversions. What's so gratifying about inversions is that unlike a lot of other music theory concepts, once you've memorized what these shapes are and how to find them, you can apply them immediately. It's not like a speed exercise where it can sometimes take a year to get, up to your target. Or like, something, I don't know, really dense like a Bach piece, right? All we're doing is taking a chord and we're just playing the notes from it in a different order. For example, here's a C, here's another C, here's another C. Now, if you listen to those, I apologize about the tuning of this guitar. It's still freshly back, and I think the strings are adjusted a bit. If you listen to those three chords, do-da-da, 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 all three of these work as a C chord. Ooh, I can't play it up there. It's too close. All of these chords are variants of a C chord, but we get different emotions from different orderings, right? So when I play a G like this, and a C like this, there's a lot more storytelling going on just in those chords. Right? That paints a picture in my mind that is much more specific than, right? Or even if we made that a little more, that's great. I love writing music like that, but again, it does feel really familiar when weighed against the tradition of this type of music. We have a lot less of this in contemporary singer-songwriter music, although that is changing. And we're used to a lot more of this in contemporary singer-songwriter music. Or just, right? So I hope that gives sort of a clear example of the use, the application of a music theory concept that can be directly beneficial to your songwriting. Learning inversions is not as crazy as it seems. Oftentimes you just need to learn a chord in two other places. And once you figure out how to do it, the caged system can be great for this. Chord scales can be great for this. Once you learn how to do it and you make it a part of your vocabulary, it won't be this laborious process of like writing with normal chords and then translating them into inversions. You'll just start to see these inversions as chords themselves. When I see this, I see an A minor 7. When I see this, I see a C with the fifth in the bass and the root on top and the third in the middle. I know that if I do this, it becomes a C minor, right? All of this C diminished, like all of this stuff, C diminished. All this stuff becomes second nature after a while. So this video has got me thinking maybe if I don't know, I need a break after this year, but maybe I'll revisit that old series on Instagram, because I think that I got a lot of positive feedback from people saying that it helped them, and it's something that I like talking about and teaching about. So maybe I'll do another series like that in the new year. I always toy around with doing this YouTube thing a little bit more seriously, but It's a different world out there than when I was younger. We'll leave it at that. All right, I hope this has been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. If anyone's wondering about this guitar, I get a lot of questions about it. It's a Telecaster my bass player built. It's got a Lawler gold foil in the neck. It's got a very deep and clear sound. And it's got, I believe... Oh, sorry, this is not a Lawler gold foil. My apologies. This is a Teisco gold foil, vintage one. This is a Lawler lap steel pickup, which is very, very clear. And in the middle, I think it might be out of phase right now. I got to take it back to my guy, but... sounds like that. Anyways. Have a great night.